Hello. Welcome
Hi.
back, everyone. Let's recap episode 5
of season 37 of The Amazing Race. First of all, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Like, if you want to see more of these recaps, more of what we're up to. And if you like the videos, just like it over there.
Go ahead and subscribe. We're also on Instagram. Check us out there. We do lots of travel this year, so we're getting
lots of Expedia points to be used.
Yes, so we're sharing it with you all, and we're excited to see this next episode.
Season of Twists and Turns.
Twists and Turns, all about it. This episode, we have a double
U-turn. And
not just a regular double turn, but
it's
a
live
double turn.
I mean, last time we saw this was season 31, where the Riley sisters ended up getting U-turn. Yeah.
I don't even know what it would feel like to be in that little semicircle, everybody just standing around.
You know what? At that point, it is a game. You cannot take it personally. And yes, although you're building bonds with these people so fast, it's still a game, and it might hurt, but I think at that point my mind would be in, let's just get it done. We need to get it done. And
I know, but like Lori said, a lot of people they felt close to. You're building all these relationships.
You do, but also if you know that someone is a threat, you might go for them. It is, and again, it's a thing about perception. I was seeing on Scott and Lori's exit interviews. I think the one with Entertainment, they were saying that they were not perceiving themselves as a team to beat. And that happened to us. I mean, we were thinking by leg 3 that we still were the underdogs, and we told that to Phil. And it was everyone else were well, no, you're not, and yet we're well.
We are. It takes time for that realization to pop in, and
so
Scott and Lori are a very strong team.
They are
very strong. So I'm not surprised they got 4 votes.
For me, as well, was referring to Jocelyn and Victor from what was it, 2 seasons ago, 35. Really strong team. That just their time was cut way too short on Amazing Race, and I hope we get to see either or both of them in an upcoming all-star season. That would be really cool.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So should we get started?
Yeah, let's get started. They're in Bali.
And staying in Bali for this leg, Jonathan and Anna are starting the day off. After that driver's seat, they ended up getting first. But now target on this, and we will talk about it in a second. We get Jonathan and Anna, Carson and Jack, Scott and Lori. Same order as they finish. They start arriving into the
They start arriving
the sacred monkey forest. Big highlight over here was the interaction between Scott and Lori and Jonathan and Anna. That was the first time that they were actually being confronted with it.
Yeah, I mean, they said, you did, Jonathan and Anna said, you did really well with it. So, we wanted to give ourselves a little bit of gap between the people behind us, which makes sense. But I think they forgot to think about the social aspect of the teams that were right behind them. You're racing.
They burned the express
with
pass
those.
with a 15 pounds. Possibility of giving it to someone else. I want to just do a quick shout out to the editors, because it was really, really fun just to see Alyssa and Josiah smelling the coffee, and then Alyssa getting the. I mean, that does happen, but the fact that they actually put it on the episode. That was really cool. And as well, Erica arriving to the monkey forest and being
oh my gosh, she was so monkeys. Excited. So excited. I would have listen, one of my wishes from going on the race was to interact with animals. So the fact that they got to even just walk past all of the monkeys was really cool.
As Carson and Jack said, keep your snacks in the back.
Yeah.
Except for that.
I know so many great little quotes.
It's little this first couple of minutes, and we're getting backstory as well from Jonathan and Anna and their struggles. Also with having a baby, and then Scott and Lori with their journey for being healthier. So we're getting a lot on this.
A lot of backstory this episode, which is really nice to see. In the beginning you don't get.
But also as an avid fan, you know that if they're giving you a lot of backstory, something is going to happen. And yes, indeed, the two teams that we got like all of those extra pictures and extra story end up being U-turn.
Getting U-turn. I thought it was really interesting because that second half of the group all left within like minutes of each other.
Literally, I mean,
what was it like?
5:57, 6, 6:01, 6:03, 6:04, 6:05. Like,
and so you're thinking like, okay, I've got to, like pick up the pace and go. And what it seemed like when Brett and Mark arrived.
Here we have all our notes.
When Brett and Mark arrived to the monkey sanctuary, they said, "Oh, we have an hour." And so, but they left at 6:03. So that means it was an hour from wherever they were just to drive to the sanctuary. So that alone, that like hour drive, not knowing, is scary as well. But it's cool that everybody got equalized again. Although I don't know if after they opened and they voted, they started at different times?
No, they left like it was just all at once. But it seems that they were walking. I mean, Scott and Lori were speed walking, so like
I'm sure it wasn't like very far from the opening.
But they didn't know what was happening. So then they get to see Phil, and now they start wondering what is this gonna like be, because you do not expect to see Phil over there. Then they get the basket, they get the boards, and like these boards already, they just have to pick the one. Jonathan and Anna make a commentary like saying the male teams in this season like were really strong, so that would be someone to watch. So at that point I was like, they're going for Carson and Jack, because
they make it seem strong. Like that it's Carson and Jack, but actually Nick and Mike, which again, smart vote, because they are I feel a very consistent and strong team. And they not always in the front, but still very consistent and
they
strong.
Had just hugged Scott and Lori, like although that was planned of Scott and Lori, like they said it on their
said it in their interview. Like we tried to like put a little bit of guilt in Jonathan and Anna.
For them not to vote, which ended up working. So Nick and Mike end up getting one vote, and then it's 4-4.
4-4, Jonathan
Scott
and Anna,
Lori
and Scott and Lori.
I wasn't really...
but I wasn't very surprised.
No, I wasn't surprised either. Yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, who else would they have possibly voted for? But those are the top two teams. They've been coming first, second, third every leg so far. So
it just another thing to mention over here, because it is like Jack and Carson do mention it, is like they've been really good at their social game. It's like, they're doing pretty good, but they've been as well trying to fly under the radar. It worked for them. Nobody votes for them.
Nobody votes for them, which could be a mistake.
Yeah. Hey, why?
I don't know. They came in second again.
Oh, well, I mean, a mistake for all the other people.
For everyone else,
like, a really clever.
But it's great. It is very, very clever. They're playing Jack and Carson are playing a very strong game. I also wonder how many of the other teams kind of like talked beforehand and said like,
Talk
okay,
about
who might you?
Well, we saw it.
U-turn comes up.
We saw it on the mat on the previous league.
Right.
I mean,
so was that conversation continued? Did anybody like solidify and say like, I'm doing it, you have like you do it?
It's hard to tell because like you don't know if they actually had time to interact afterwards. Yeah. But well, they get their next clue and they're sent to Pantai, Pandawa, and they need to look for the gazebo in order to get to their next clue.
And Han and Holden.
Their taxi, I guess, was the fastest because they made it there.
Fast taxi, first group there,
which was really excited. We have been seeing them pretty much on the middle back.
Yeah.
So now it's nice to see these swaps, and especially from cabs. Again, it's not self navigation, so it's more like being a little lucky, which Scott and Lori are not, and ended up being the last ones to arrive.
Yeah.
Once they get there, they get a detour clue. And it's whether coconut or coral.
I thought that was they were just so different. Like coconuts was grueling, like hot, heavy.
Which I think I would have said coral.
I would have done coral as well. At least like you were in the shade most of the time.
Yeah, and you know that you're gonna go into the water. So even if it's really hot, it's just like focus a little.
I like swimming, so
getting it done and then getting into the water, which is like something that we
and eye for detail is, it's not everybody's strength. And I think a lot of teams realized like because of some other challenges that had to do with detail, let's just do like the physical challenge, which sometimes in the race is the better choice.
But let's just take as an example our season, like with the horses and the lucha libre. Like the horses was the grueling one. It was really hot.
But you have 35 other seasons of experience knowing like sometimes that.
But you have to consider as well, like you're in a really hot and humid place.
Yeah.
And if you like, this is the beginning of the lake. This is the detour. You might have another detour or another roadblock or something else afterwards. Like you want to be exhausted by that.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you know until you get there and see what it actually is? But it seemed like everything's in the same location, so you could have switched.
I think I would have said coral and like actually Jonathan and Anna ended up saying coconut first and then decided to go for coral.
Yeah, maybe they saw it first.
So now
on the way.
I do want to ask, if we were in a U-turn position, like what would have been better, taking coral first, or like Jonathan and Anna, or taking coconuts first, like Scott and Lori?
I think I would have done the same as Scott and Lori, done the really hot and heavy.
You think so?
Because it's a little bit earlier in the day.
But
it's only about 9 o'clock.
Eye for detail, you need to be focused. And if whatever happened to them, they were the last ones to be there, you get more frantic. And if you get more frantic with coconuts, like you can just put that all, like whatever Lori did with the rice. Like she was mad, she put all that energy into hitting. Like
that makes sense. Yeah,
I would be trying coconuts like Pops. Yeah, sure. Well, not like Pops.
Not like Pops. But one can.
Wait, okay. I have to say this. I cannot believe how little we have heard Pops and Melinda.
Yeah, like where's the footage of our parents?
I mean, they are doing like so
they're
good. Both
killing
of them.
It. Both of them are so strong, and they seem really fun. Like, I want more.
But
like,
they're hitting in the background somewhere.
Yeah,
there.
I'm like, they're busting their butts. At least put them on screen.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Come on.
I want to hear it from them, but.
Yeah. Or like Pops is probably just like a get down and do it.
Maybe, I mean,
I don't know. But they're doing a great job. I think everybody who did coconut, I think like three or four trips.
Yeah, that was
some people got, I think, two
trips for Scott and Lori and 2 trips for Alyssa and Josiah. And everyone else got it in 3 for Melinda and Eric. No, 4 for Melinda and Erica, 4 for Nick and Mike, 3 for Han and Holden.
That's very impressive because
and 4 for Pops.
That's a lot of weight to put on the bike, and it was cool.
3 to 4 Pops and Jeff, but they ended up getting extra coconuts. So
of course they got extra. They said it. They're used to this like hard labor every day, and you can see it. They were able to just like pedal to the metal and get it done, and it was cool to see the different strategies for the bike. Nobody wanted to run. Nobody. I mean, not a lot of people loaded the back of the bike, which was
that's what I don't get. Like maybe
there was like a little flat basket,
but it would have helped. Okay, so something to say because we did experience it, like being on the front of the pack. You get more choices. Like there was a lot of coconut over there. I think I would have, like, even if it took me a little longer at the beginning, sorted and get like the ones with the biggest or the less heavy with more coconuts.
Yeah, there were a couple of bushels that I saw that had smaller coconuts.
So I think if you're on the front of the pack and you have the chance, like, yeah, it looks like you're wasting time because you're sorting a little. But hey, if I can take the smallest and leaving the heaviest for the other people, why not? I mean, you're not messing up with the other coconuts. You're just picking through them.
I think that's not really what anybody was worried about. I think everybody was worried, like, let me get at least a bushel that was like full that I wasn't like.
Still, you like, because they were struggling so much in pulling them apart. Yes, once they fall on the floor, they were like starting to get out of the veins, but you could have tangled them somehow. Like, again, it just felt like, put them on, let's go. Like,
that's what the challenge was. Put them on and let's go.
Yeah, but
I understand what you're saying. There could be more thought.
The thing is, I would have been there like, let's figure out how to get those 60 coconuts in one bike.
No.
And walk away.
No.
Well, I would have tried. I would have liked to. Okay.
I think 30 doing 2 trips was a reasonable amount.
That was pretty reasonable.
Well, not reasonable. I think it was
the best
amount you could do. That way you're only making
But I'm a little stubborn, so I would have been like, let's try.
Yeah, but I think once we started to walk away with the bike,
you're right.
We would have had tip overs and things that everyone else was dealing with. And to relieve that stress and tension of it, you have to take smaller trips. And I think that's okay.
You are right. I guess.
We've got it on film, people. I'm right.
This one time.
Anyways, but yeah, coral. But the coral.
So you needed to put 18 pieces of coral.
Yeah.
There were 5 different kinds, and tie them in the right order into this like hexagonal shape, which both of our gay teams did pretty good out of there on their first attempt. Detail. But also I saw for a second, I think Mark and Brett were like running towards the table and comparing them, which if it doesn't say on the additional information that you cannot do it, do it. Just go and see like, yep, this one looks alike. Let's just like.
Yeah, that was a good strategy by them. I think both of those teams are very strong from what I'm gathering, is strong with detail. So this was like right up their alley for a challenge, and they seem to have done it fairly quickly.
I mean, for what it looked, and then they had to go and like pass the buoy, leave the hexagon thing on the water, and then
that water was choppy.
It was choppy.
I mean, Jonathan got knocked right over. Like, I was just stunned. I was like, okay, all right, we got some swimming to do. Thankfully, it looked like the buoys were out pretty far, but not more than, I guess.
So another thing that I'm gonna say is like, for example, for Anna, in this case, like she was afraid of the water. She's not a good swimmer. And she ended up getting a life vest. Usually they do have things like that, but it's not until you ask. Again, if it's not on the additional information.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Think about how many swimming things we had. You had the running through the river. Yeah, you had a life vest.
I did have a life vest.
For the swimming in the water. I had a life vest for the windsurfing. So I was kind of intrigued why.
But then I'm going to say again, like on that, I had optional. If I wanted water shoes, I could have used water shoes, right? And then we had like the flipper things in DR as an optional thing. So like, I'm guessing like it's not that far, but it's an option. So if things are there as optional, and if they're gonna help you, just get it. If for Jack and Carson was like, let's just get in the water, like.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a strong swimmer, you don't feel like it's that far. But I'm just surprised there weren't already like.
But there was a little boat with lifeguards.
Yeah, so. but what I'm saying is, I'm surprised there weren't already like with the goggles and everything they provided was goggles and life vests. Like, here's the equipment that if you want.
You're right.
That she had to ask for one.
True.
So that was.
But it's something to keep in mind. Like if you're going on the race, if it's not there, you can get it.
Yeah,
just get it.
But she did an awesome job, Anna. She got over her fear and she just like went for it. She was in competition mode. I really, really enjoyed her resiliency, her patience this episode. She really was like the rock for their team, even though she was going through these emotional, we were getting these emotional clips from her. And I just felt she was so strong. So I was very happy watching Anna just like power through, and she took it. She didn't take it so much to heart, the double U-turn, which you really could like internalize it. But she was pushing them. She said, "Come on, let's go! Like we got it. Like it's not over till it's over." And this is like the perfect race mentality. So
yeah, pretty much.
Good job, girl.
And then coconuts, corals, teams start getting their clues. First, our teams on coral, they were doing pretty good. Actually, all 3 teams that picked coral finished quite fast. Jonathan and Anna struggled a little bit. They had like 6 attempts until they got it. They weren't realizing that it was so much eye for detail.
Yeah.
And once they got it, they swapped to coconuts. But at that point, a lot of the people were leaving.
Yeah, I think Erica, Melinda were just finishing up when Jonathan and Anna arrived.
Scott and Lori decided to do coconut first. And also, like, I applaud their attitude because they were really positive through the whole episode, like till the very end. And picking the physical first, I mean, they got it in two trips for the coconut. So We see Nick and Mike struggling a little bit, like stacking the coconut, not exactly like carrying them. So,
but again, you still see them like keeping their cool.
Yeah, they do say like we might need to take another breath, and like think that's super important.
Again, I think that's really helping them through this really difficult time. Like, every team that's left.
That, and we didn't mention who was it? Nick that had
his poor eye. Oh my gosh! Like, just to struggle through that. We heard through the grapevine he had like a literal piece of rice stuck in his eye. So to like have to battle that on top of the heat and this, I've just
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They did pretty good.
They did great. Yeah.
So teams start getting out of there and getting their clues. Then they need to go to Nusa Dua Beach to receive their next clue. Then we see Carson and Jack arriving first, then Brett and Mark. So now we have our 2K teams arriving first, and it was like one after each other. Like,
they were pretty back to back.
I don't get like this episode. There was a lot of little hints of like, oh, just keep going that way.
Oh, that's true.
Even Carson and Jack mentioning to Scott and Lori, like, look at the color of the coral, and I think in their franticness. Thank you. Frankness. Thank you. I just wanted to say it. They ended up not like really listening because they took them about 7 tries to get the coral.
But I think one of it was like they even said like, oh, let's pick a better one. Like this.
And also I forgot to say they had extra ones.
Yeah,
on the bucket. So but on the bucket. But if you're trying to just put whatever. Anyways, we move on where they're going to the next clue. And here is where Jack and Carson make their first mistake that I can notice in the whole race so far, which is that Jack pick. That's a great thing to do, picking like the bright orange board. But by doing that, he forgot that it was the decal. What he needed. To pay attention on. And even Carson says like, well, he picked the orange. I hope he's not looking for another board, like, which is what ended up happening.
But I think he figured it out fairly quickly and realized like, okay, there are no orange boards out here. Like,
but not quickly enough to get that first place.
I know.
I mean,
it was very fast.
We see Brett getting in the water and he's just
Baywatch. I guess I should have taken up surfing apparently because everybody surfing is doing really great. I had a little PTSD when I saw the surfboards. I was like, oh no. But I think everybody went out, and it's interesting because when you're paddling out, it's all upper body. And you saw a lot of teams were like, man, this is exhausting, or like taking breaks, and the other surfers were really far out.
They were really far, and there were a lot of them,
and a lot of them to like kind of zigzag through. I think Jack mentioned like, it's not like they're lined up for me to just like go down the line. It's like, no,
and then the water was still choppy. So it's like,
and then after like being hot, like running, either if you did the coconut or whatever, and then going in, it
was
really all the teams I feel like did it fairly. Maybe it was just the editing, but it seemed like nobody like was out there for a really, really long time.
Well, it seems that Erica picked the right board for her.
Oh, yeah. First, she said first board when she got out there, she found it. I'm like, that is awesome.
And with all of that, they ended up jumping in space with Nick and Mike. But anyways, Brett and Mark get it first. Then Jack and Carson, and at that point,
after them,
the other teams started arriving. Alisa and Josiah decides to do it. He's so funny. He's just like, his commentary like through the whole like season has been on point, and like on this one, like the story of him learning how to swim.
I unfortunately have a similar experience, Josiah.
Just like being thrown into the water and
just throws me in and you figure it out, not into the open sea though, so that's a little different. Like, you had an extreme, but he still says he like loves swimming, so clearly wasn't traumatized. But he goes out, he gets it done quickly. Who else is out there?
We get Pops and Jeff, Han and Holden, Pops and Jeff, Nick and Mike.
Pops does it quickly. Han gets out there and
She
enjoys
it.
Having a blast. She's like, I've been surfing for the last 2 years. And she kills it. She does it so fast, and then she
takes a wave, and
she's like,
gets
"Oh,
out.
I'm gonna catch this wave. Help me get in," which was also like just so awesome. Like, you go.
Then we see something here, that Melinda and Erica. Melinda has done only one detour so far, one roadblock so far.
One roadblock.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Which in theory she was going to do this one as well. But Erica ends up saying she's going to do it. They were too tired from the coconut.
Yeah,
so
that's really hard because like just so many of the past legs have been in these hot areas.
I know, but then you're limited. You're starting to limiting your options. Yeah. And like now everything is going to be
it's like you're waiting for the right moment. When's the right moment? But in reality, it's like there isn't the right moment. You just kind of have to like go for it and do it, and take that plunge. So next episode, like she has to do it. Like, and because otherwise they're going to run out, and and
that's going to be it.
She's going to have to do every single one on the last couple of legs. And that's also exhausting.
Yes. Yeah, because even Jack said it on this one, like he was still hurt from the rise on the previous one.
Yeah.
Like his back was killed. So it adds on.
It adds up.
The other thing, then that's pretty much on my notes over here. Then they start running towards the Taxu Art stage.
Yeah, so some of the teams are finishing. They're headed over. We looked it up. It's about like a 15-minute walk, 1.1
if you're going in the right direction.
Well, hopefully you're going in the right direction. It's along the coast. I looked at the map. It's just like straight down the coast, along the water. So it wasn't like super crazy to navigate. And they did have
markers. A couple of them said like, there's a marker over there. Like
once you got to the end, there were markers.
So we get Brett and Mark's first place. And they are so happy, and they well deserve it because like they've been doing good.
And they've had some crazy like jumps in placement, and so this was really like.
But this leg, they were really smart. They were just doing everything perfectly, and they run a really clean leg, and they ended up landing on that first. They win $5,000 each of them. Then we get Carson and Jack, and then Alyssa and Josiah on third place. Pops and Jeff's fourth, Hannah and Holden fifth. Melinda and Erica on that sixth place because they ended up running past Nick and Mike.
Listen, if you are confident in where you're going, that's the best thing to do. I think Nick and Mike were being too meticulous. He said, do you want to do your due diligence and track the corner? And so they're trying to make sure they don't get lost, which is smart. But sometimes you have to like trust your gut and just like go for it and be confident. And I think that's what helped Erica and Melinda last leg and this leg. Because last leg, they didn't follow the pack and they ended up getting ahead. And then the same thing here. They just stuck to their guns and like went for it. And they jumped a spot above a very strong team.
So now we go back to the beach with the boards. And I do have to give thumbs down to Jonathan. Because although, yes, he was exhausted, we get it, as everybody else. But everyone else kept a good attitude about it.
It's hard.
I think Anna kept reminding him how much he wanted to be there and how much they have had those conversations before even the race. Mm-hmm. But again, watching the show is not the same as being on the show. And once you're there, you realize that it is a lot. Like you're traveling pretty much every other day or every day and like doing things that you're not used to every day. So,
and he admits like his expectation is not reality. So like his expectation going on the race was to do really well, win a bunch of stuff, and expectation sometimes it's not reality. And he's realizing that now. And I get it. It's hard to start your day with a double U-turn, knowing that you have to do all of this. He admits he's not good in the heat.
I am just going to go back to a phrase that Josiah has at the beginning of the episode. And pretty much he's saying like it is us against the challenges and everyone else and not us against each other.
Yeah.
And I think that resonated because that's something that we talked about it. And that's why I put it on my notes, because we see Alyssa and Josiah working pretty good. And yes, it was different.
Yeah.
Or just for the same comparing purposes, we have Scott and Lori with a great attitude, doing exactly the same thing, and just like having a great attitude.
Yeah, I think it's he was still moving forward. He's still doing it, but the things he was saying are valid. Like, hey, I have a headache. Hey, I need a minute.
But not the way that they were said. The way that they were being
attacked, and you see this on other seasons as well. Like, you're at a stress level beyond what you normally are, and sometimes your short fuse doesn't help you with your filter. And it's unfortunate.
It was just like a big thumbs down.
He's a very strong competitor, and it's like stuff like this. It's like, oh, come on, man! Like, you got it. Like, it's a positivity thing, even though like your body is not responding the way you want it to.
But not to take it on with your partner.
Take it out on your partner, because Anna's really like, she says it, and it's really sweet. Like, when we were going through the tough times, he was there for me, so I need to be there for him. And I love that. I love that about their relationship, that they're there to support each other. But it is a hard thing. You have to remember that you're not against each other, you're against the challenges. And I think they've had a lot of like cool growth that's happening. And I'm intrigued to see how well they do, how they recover from this.
Yeah. And especially like this next episode, I want to see like if things change a little bit, at least, like if they have had the chance to really talk it through, like during the rest time, during the pit stop. But fortunately for Scott and Lori, this was their last leg on the Amazing Race, at least on this season. We'll see future seasons.
Who knows?
I would like to see more of them.
Yeah. They're a very strong team, and it is true. They're a strong team, and everyone saw it, whether they believed it or not. Your performance goes beyond what you say. So they were doing really well. I mean, it's sad to see a strong team go, and that's kind of like the catch with this double U-turn. Is like you're putting the top teams in a harder spot to slow them down so you can catch up. So not that any of these teams are really like that weak. Nobody on this season was weak.
Not really. Nothing else. But yeah, so I mean, but I enjoy the episode. I enjoy the twist. I do have a little conflict with a U-turn being shown at the beginning of the episode. I think a U-turn should be shown after you finish one of the sides of the detour. I get the boat and all of that. I enjoy better like 35 with Steven and Ali. Like, just because like you have to keep that positive attitude from the beginning, and like it could be you, it could be anyone getting U-turns, right? Like, once you finish, then it's how you take the bull by the bull by the horns and go back and do the other one. But because we have seen multiple teams achieve like finishing both sides of the U-turn and go back and like
I see what you're saying. I think it was probably better mentally for these teams to have known, okay, I have to do both of these things. No, I know, but I don't think it helped. I don't think it helped. They were both really frantic. They both 6 and 7 tries on the coral. That is a lot for the two teams that were on top. If you don't know you're being U-turned ahead of time, you might take it easy on that first challenge.
I know, but you should not. Another team next to me. It is the race.
Yeah, but your brain doesn't have that stress. So you're sitting there and you're doing the Caro and you're taking your time.
I wasn't stressed the whole time, and I would have kept us like, let's just think that. And
I'm just saying, if you know that you have a second thing to do, you're gonna bust your butt the first time.
So but you should bust your butt the whole time.
No, I'm not saying no one wasn't, but I'm just saying
I know
it could feel that way. Like,
I'm just saying,
okay, I know that I'm just gonna have to deal with this heat for like a little bit longer and finish these coconuts, and then I'm gonna go. One of us is gonna do the roadblock, and then we're gonna be.
I disagree totally with this. I would have been like, let's be on top of this, imagining.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be the same way. I would be like going with me because I'm playing devil's advocate and just saying like this is a possibility for people.
Then that devil is not gonna win. Like, like it's just No, not my way, and I think it's not your way. And pretty much,
no, it's not my way. I would be busting my butt
so then
the entire
what
time.
Are we doing here, being in disagreement? Like it is.
I'm just trying to look at all sides.
No, it is just getting there. Do it as if you're U-turn on every single detour.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
what a mental strain.
I feel like that's where we were at.
Like, I know. But I think what's interesting though is like the teams know that something's coming up, so they're mentally prepared. And what I have also noticed is that a lot of the detours,
they were frantic. They were really frantic, and they could have rocked and killed that like coral way faster if they didn't know about the detour, and then they would have gone and do the other side.
Sure. But anyway, what I was saying about the detours.
No, I said it once that you were right, and this time you're not right, and you're not getting.
I'm not saying I agree with you.
And so with that, I'm gonna close my notes because episode 5.
An epic episode right in the middle of the season. We also, are they going to do a mega leg this season?
Oh, I don't know. Or keep on racing. Yeah.
Or keep on racing. What, like, there are the season of twists. How many more twists do we have to look forward to?
Well, next one is fast forward, isn't it? Yeah, it is fast forward, but I don't know. I saw pretty much all the teams on the doing multiple of the challenges on the promo photos. So I don't know who's actually going for the fast forward. I'm really intrigued. I'm really excited, and I'm ready to watch this next episode. I think it's gonna be a fun one. It looks really cool. They're skydiving. They're doing something with camels. There's
more animals.
It seems that they're also like scuba diving or something in a pool.
It looks
with a
like
car
another
on the background.
really
Like it looks really fun.
Yeah, maybe this one will be the fast forward, but also a keep on racing. Nah, that's
I don't
too
know because
hot.
They're showing as well on the promo that there's 2 teams behind, which I don't love. If this is the reality, they're pretty much telling us who's on the bottom. So if you don't want to know that, don't watch the trailers. Just wait until just wait and
watch. Yeah, congrats to all the teams. You guys are killing it. Scott and Lori, we're going to be sad to not see you on the show next week, but we know you're fans and you're going to be around. And
yeah, I think they're having a watch party with half of the team Walla Walla.
Oh, cool.
In San Diego. So if you're in San Diego, contact them. Yeah. That has been everything for today. If you haven't subscribed by now, just subscribe the video. That will help us. You can keep up with us on Instagram mostly. Whether on Ricky and Cesar, or we have our individual as well. And
if you have any comments or questions or things you want to know, or something that we could cover for the next episode, put it in the comments
and flip it down. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.